Hey everybody, this is Robert Price from Rob P Sound. So I have another jam-packed lesson for you guys. So I'm very excited about this one too. Okay. So the previous lesson we was talking about like a melodic minor movement. I cover a lot of melodic minor themes. That's one of my favorite scales at this particular point in my musical journey. Now we're gonna cover something different today, but we was in the key of F sharp. Okay. So we did like a movement off of the dominant chord. So let's just say you're going from the 6 to the 2. Okay, you can have something to do. Let's just say you're doing something like "Oh, give thanks." You know how they be like, let me see, for he is good. Usually you would just do something like this. You know, now you can do something like, you can do okay. So however you want to do it, but definitely check that video out, okay? Because we covered a lot of stuff in that video. All right, so today we're going to cover something. Let's say you was doing like a diminished chord, okay? Let's say that you was going from like a 3 to a 6. I've covered stuff like this before, but this is a little bit different, okay? So let's say we was to stay on that A flat. Now, if we're going to change it from like a 3 to a 2, that would mean we're in the key of E, okay? Because A flat or that G sharp is the 3 of E, all right? And I'm going to change keys also. So I'm going to show you this in multiple keys. I try to at least do 2 keys for certain examples, all right? So let's say we was playing this chord right here, okay? We're doing this diminished chord. Let's say like an A diminished over that A flat, all right? On surface, you can actually, let's say you can think of that A flat alternate, or pretty much just a half whole scale, right? So okay. So that's pretty much the half whole scale. Now, one thing I say is, if you're going to use a scale, what you can do, you can take chords away from the scale, okay? So I thought of some cool chords that you can do to actually, buy you some time. So here we go. Let's say you're in the key of E, and you're doing something like, and then, or what if you did something like this, and then maybe, or that's your diminished chord, right? Let's say you take it a step further, okay? So pretty much my whole philosophy is whatever scale you use, find chords in that scale, whether it's major, minor, minute, just different type of chords, and put it all in there. Because, so for instance, when I did this movement right here, I did a movement to get me to the actual chord that I wanted, the diminished chord, right? But sometimes I would do something like this. Let's say, okay, now there are different ways you can come up with that chord, but for me, I looked at the half whole scale, and instead of just taking it just as is, just, okay, I'll just, no, I'm actually going to take chords from that scale to kind of make up more ideas. And this is how you can come pretty melodic, okay? Now, I'm going to give you those chords. This right here. Okay? You can do this. So there's so many things you can do, all right? So in the last video, what I did was I said I'm going to do pretty much like a drop 2 movement over every bass note. So, and it don't necessarily have to be looked at as a bass note. Just pretty much every note of the scale, you should have a drop 2 chord for that, okay? Now, this is not like I'm just making up this stuff. So you can come up with your own way of thinking about it. So when I started out doing this, okay, every chord I play in my right hand is in that scale, okay? So I chose to do a flat minor, right? I could do this, okay? Add that, make this pretty much just like a, not a minor 6, but pretty much it is, okay? So, or A flat minor 7. So, so what I can do is the drop 2 version of that, okay? And then I did something else right here, okay? So I'm not necessarily breaking every single chord down. I want to go slow enough to where at least you can kind of copy them, but I want you to get the idea from it, okay? Look at this scale. So I'm taking this minor, the A flat minor, right here, doing like a major chord, okay? See? Okay, so I'm going slow enough to where you can at least take the chords, okay? Or at least give you the ideas. So now in that, you do want to have the actual diminished chord you're playing, okay? So you can at least have some type of home chord, you know, to get you to the next one. Sometimes it doesn't matter with me. If I land here, right, over this A flat, then it still works because it's the scale. So I don't want you to get too caught up with certain chords. Like, you don't have to play this diminished chord over this A flat, okay? That's good. That's a good starting point. But if I know what scale I'm using, I can play any chord from that scale. So if I landed here, okay, and the way I got here was this. Watch this. Let me see. Look at that. I chose a different chord this time. Okay. Now this right here is, so let's say you're in the key of F sharp. That chord, I use that for this. Watch this. You know that chord, right? So you're with these scales, you were kind of like in different keys. You can kind of look at it like that, okay? So that's why I love, you know, thinking about modes or just different scales over chords. So, okay, so if I get caught as far as like the timing, I'll play this. Okay, so there's so many options now, right? Now there's one way you can do it too. You can think of it just moving in third. So, okay, so you can do. Okay, so there are a lot of things that you can practice. So it may seem like I'm going pretty fast, but if you need additional help, feel free to email me, okay? My email is in the description below, okay? So I'll come up with like pretty much like a personal video for you, and I'll go over the specific things you need, okay? So you can come up with the, you know, and I'm doing it slow, but so now I'm going to switch keys because I want to show you this idea in a different key. Let me see, let's do something else. Right here, if you want to keep that melody note, you can think about it like that. Think about melody notes. You can do, see? So, right? Now I'm just messing around. Okay? Now I was literally about to go into a whole nother space, but now I'm not. So now I just added 2 diminished chords together because all of these notes are in the same scale. But watch this though, watch this. So this is the diminished chord that we're using, right? Okay, let's go to the key of C sharp. All right, I did this in a previous video. Instead of doing this, I did something like this. Okay, so it's something a little bit different, right? But in the key of C sharp, if we're going to a 6, watch this. Look what just happened. We're using the same diminished chord, okay? So this means that if you know what diminished chord, like all your diminished chords, which is really only 3, you can take those same ideas that you used in the key of E and put that in C sharp. So watch this. Or I'll play it up here. You You see how a lot of times I do the melody note and play the bass? So watch this. I can do or okay. So I'll do another one. A lot of times we do this. Okay, that's pretty popular. Or then we do this. You could do this right here. You can either, or you can take chords now. I could probably do okay. So I hope this is making sense. You can put this in any song, okay? If you're going from that 3 to the 6, and you know, wait a minute, if you just start with one idea, just take this idea. When it comes to this A diminished or C diminished or E flat diminished or F sharp, you know, it really doesn't matter. But this diminished chord right here, take this idea. So once you learn these chords, or once you find your chords, you can do this in the key of E. You can do this in honestly any key when you use this diminished chord, okay? And so that's why I like to cover piano concepts, because it takes you as far as your imagination, to be honest. Not trying to sound corny or anything, but that's just what it is, you know? All right, so, you know? So I went back to E. But even in C sharp, so I could have done a 7, 3. Let me see, if I just want to, okay? So there's so much you can do. So now, so with these 2 videos, you have like a melodic minor idea, and you have this whole half scale idea, okay? Just like you can pretty much say maybe like a diminished scale, okay? So it's not really about the key that you're in, okay? It's about, for me, I think about the chord that I'm on and the idea that I want to convey, okay? All right? So let me know if this made sense at all. Definitely subscribe if you haven't. Leave a like, it really helps the channel, okay? Talk with you guys soon. Take care.